All right. Jesse on fire. In the new world, this timeline, we just got given a gift that I am not sure that people realize that we have yet, because Ilia Topuria is about to fill a very specific role in the MMA world that should have been filled by someone else for the last I don't know, 8 years. We were owed that person. And now we have him, though, in the form of Ilia Topuria. He's going to be what Conor McGregor was supposed to be, okay? Like for us, for the fans, and in many other ways, actually. I was thinking about it as soon as, like, when I watched the, obviously, if no one is clear, Ilia Topuria just flatlined Charles Oliveira in the first round. I'm just talking, assuming that you guys are all up to speed on what just happened. So, operating from that assumption, we're going to talk about Ilia Topuria today. And we're going to talk about Patty Pimblett as well. There's so many things. Okay, listen, I'm going to lay this out. I know I always lay out what I'm going to talk about in these videos, but this time it's important. I'm going to tell you the line items that I need to hit. And if I just start going into outer space, remind me that we have to talk about 3 things, okay? A, I want to talk about the fight, but B, I want to talk about Ilia Topuria's interaction with both Charles Oliveira and Patty Pimblett after the fight. Very important. But I think where I want to start, though, dude, is like that guy. I watched him in the octagon after the fight, and I was looking at this guy from his, you know what? I'm going to start right there. I want to talk about that first, actually. So the reason I'm saying he's going to be a billionaire is based on how he interacted with the people around him in that moment. It's like, if you really think about what you're looking at when you're watching a prize fighter who is competing at that level, right? Everything culminates in this one moment. Like for fighters, the life that they live is fucking crazy. No one, there is no other way that you can make a living that mirrors what UFC fighters' lives are like in any way. And I'm talking about any other professional athletes, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to like a 10-minute thing, 15 minutes, maximum 25 if you're at the top in championship fights. And your entire life is dictated by what has just happened there. And the bigger the fight, the bigger the impact it's going to be on your life. And so if you watch them right after the fight, I mean like fucking right after the fight, what you're looking at is like a complete clear picture of exactly who these guys are. Like exactly who they are. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about like, I mean, obviously you find out a lot about a guy when he, gets into a cage match with another trained, mercenary. But the way I'm talking about is like, it's the most important, like 10 minutes of their life, like, just transpired. And now they're getting reconnected with all of the people around them in this new world. Because there were 2 ways that their life could have gone. Okay. I'm trying to do I'm trying to explain things a lot more than I normally do, because this is really important to understand. They go into the octagon, the version of their life that they have if they win by knockout versus the version of their life that happens if they get knocked out, if on the 2 like far ends of the spectrum, are so fucking different that it's unbelievable. Like that's why I always say, I'm like, these guys are fighting for their lives in there. They're literally fighting for this version of their life. Hang on one second. So what Topuria just did, I'm trying to think if there has been, there hasn't actually, I already know. Okay. Every time that a person has won the second belt, someone say something if I'm wrong about this, but I can't think of a time where you had like a dominant, very popular champion who lost via stoppage to the person who was coming up in weight class. Like, it's always weird. It's like, Eddie Alvarez was like popular with the hardcores, but like he wasn't like mainstream. I'm trying to think of a mainstream guy. Like Ilia Topuria just came up at 155 and knocked out Charles Oliveira in 1.5 minutes. Like, it's so insane that is what just happened. So like, how does he handle it? He goes to Charles Oliveira, and the interaction between the two of them, I was like, wow. That's what I'm saying, is like the way that he interacted with Charles was as a person who respected his opponent so much because they're in it's man, I'm not gonna be able to explain this, dude. I'm not gonna be able to explain this. Bottom line is, okay, Ilia Topuria outside of the octagon is going to be the absolute dead polar opposite of Conor McGregor. I mean, absolute dead opposite. What you're basically getting in Ilia Topuria is if you took fucking Khabib and Conor McGregor and then smashed them together, and left all the like crazy, the lunatic shit that Conor does on the outside. That's this other part of his life. You have like this one part of Conor McGregor as a person that can get so dialed in and so locked into this insane thing that they do and become good enough to literally just do what he did. Like it's like, to be able to get to that level, people just don't fucking get it, man. But then he also has all this crazy other shit. Khabib literally lived this life, but he fucking left early. And he also didn't aspire to be a mogul. Like Conor wants to be a mogul. That's Conor's goal. Conor's best case scenario now is huge money. Like I promise you, I'm sure he's very happy with his money. That's not his goal. Like his goal is like, because there are still people that are beating him, dude. He's playing a different game now. It's a very different game. But the thing that drives people to be the best in the world at it are identical. Like to me or anybody, any of you guys is like, let's just say we hit the lottery. Okay. Just as an example, but fill in the blank with something you'd be proud of. Okay. And you got $100 million, right? You're wealthy. You do whatever you want for life, unless you're an absolute stone fucking retard, which many people are. But unless you're retarded, you're going to live wealthy for the rest of your life. You're going to be able to do whatever you want. But there's this class kind of towards the top, like the class at the top of guys. And it just is, it's literally just like the fight game. They're like, they look at each other and they're like, oh, whatever. Like if you think that there's that, any of these famous billionaires don't know literally their exact fucking net worth 100% of the time, not in terms of like where everything is, just what their number is. That's the game Conor's playing now. And he really, really, really took basically what happened with that Nikita Hand case is equivalent to like if he was in a championship MMA fight and he got his nose shattered in the middle of the first round, like shattered. It fucking buried him, dude. It absolutely buried him in the game that he's playing. Doesn't mean he won't come back and try to do something big. That's why he's throwing Hail Marys. He's like, I'll just still run for president. You're like, no, you won't, dude. You need to fucking wash that off somehow. But Ilia is going to play that game and he's going to fucking win, dude. Like that's the game Ilia wants to play in. And that's what I'm saying is like, I can see so much, like having listened to him on Rogan and then just looking at him in that moment, like I could see exactly who this guy is. I can see fucking exactly who this guy is. He's going to go all the way, dude. Like he's going to do this all throughout his fight career. He's going to have an incredible career, dude. Like an incredible career. And at the same time, he's going to be building his businesses on the backside. He's going to be planning a bunch of crazy stuff to where like, you think that guys get done fighting and they have nothing except for the fight. You know what I mean? It's like, because that's how most people would do it. You got a lot of money coming in. You're not really thinking, you could say you're thinking about the future, but you're not really, and certainly not in a way where you could put your best foot forward to like build businesses so that you cruise right into them afterwards. But if that's your fucking goal and that's your vision, is to have your fight career and then walk straight into, a large income that you built, like while you were still fighting in, as an entrepreneur, you couldn't possibly have a better situation to be able to do that. Okay. Fighters train a lot, but it's all they do. Train. Okay. You have any idea how easily you can start a business if you have the level of flexibility in your schedule that fighters do? And I know professional fighters, like especially high-end UFC guys would be like, dude, you have no idea what a fight camp is like. I'm like, you're 100% right. I 100% do know what it takes to build certain businesses though. And if you have, 7 months a year that you're not doing this, you absolutely can do that. I'm not talking shit about anybody. It's just like, if these guys really wanted to make that a priority, all of them that have had any level of success, all of them could walk straight into a situation like that. But Ilia is one of those guys that like that shit's going to be set in. He will have been crushing it in those businesses for years before he retires. Like, he's the fucking guy, dude. Okay? He's the fucking guy. And I realize I haven't even talked about the fight yet because this is how I look at the world, dude. That's the fact that they fight. The fact that they fight, the reason I love it so much is because this is the game I'm actually playing. I just want to understand people, dude. Like, I just want to look at a person and be like, man, that dude's fascinating. And I want to just look and just kind of run my algorithm that I do and just drill into him, dude. And what possible thing could you have a person do that's going to give you more insight into who they are than throw them in a cage in front of a million people against a person whose entire life depends on them beating you in a fight? It's like, it's just unbelievable. He goes in there like that. That's his performance. Like, that's what Ilia just did right now. Just, just go in there and just immediately find out that you're up against a guy. Do you have any idea how panicked most UFC fighters would have been in the beginning of that fight? As soon as Charles, you think that, let me back up. Now we're talking about the actual fight. Okay. So what's the first thing Charles does? Is he immediately grabs a hold of Ilia, pushes him against the fence, is doing things where he's putting him in positions where he's letting him know that he's much stronger than him. Okay. And he had success doing that. Ilia has never been in there with anyone who's even remotely close to the threat that Charles Oliveira poses and the strength in positions like that. So right out of the gate, he's up against it's the hardest he's ever been kind of like muscled around in his entire career. Certainly in the first round. And like that, especially it being Charles Oliveira, he's advancing. So many guys would have panicked in that situation, would have started spinning themselves up. He literally didn't rattle him at all. Like, at all. At all. He just sat in there and knew exactly what he was going to do and then just fucking flatlined him, dude. In an incredibly well set up, a very well set up thing that he did. It's like, that wasn't just random. He set him up and then executed it exactly as he had hoped. Super chats. What's up, dude? XJTech. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you, man. And what'd you miss in the first 5 minutes? Literally the first 10 minutes is just me talking about who Ilia Topuria is. And he's the fucking guy is the answer. That's the guy. Meanwhile, Ian Gary in the back crying somewhere, giving Charles Layla for the night. That would cheer him up a lot. I can promise you that. But yeah, I mean, when Ilia said that if he did well at 55, he'd go up and chase Islam, I was like, this dude is out of his goddamn mind. Like, I mean, literally, I'm just like, no, he won't. He's just talking, dude. No, he will. He absolutely 100% will. Like, this guy's not just talking, dude. He's not like this dude's thing that he's doing is real. Everybody says all the same shit. He's different. Like, that dude is different. So Patty, right? The obvious call out. That's like, this is a perfect example. Okay. Elite, top of the heap, number one fighter in the world type guys, go into fights, they win. Hey, what do you want to see happen next? Whatever. And they go, whatever the organization wants me to, wants for me. It's fine. Like, I understand there are guys who do not want to play that game. Like, they don't want to play. I get it. I'm not judging them at all. It's like, I know lots of people where it doesn't matter the amount of money I'm going to pay you, like to like have a set speech and make that part of the thing that you're doing while you're a profile. They just would never do it. They're like, I don't care about the money. I'm not fucking doing it. But to maximize how good you do this job, I mean, if you just want to put it like that, forget about just like, it's like, oh, how much money they'll make. It's like, no, this is a fucking job. Okay. What they're doing is a job. People do it better than others. Right. So that Shane Haslett, thank you for the super chat. That was a thermonuclear knockout. And I agree in slow-mo. I mean, I love Charles Oliveira. I love that guy. But yeah, I mean, where was I before? Dude, that's my brain is all over the place right now. Oh, Patty. Okay, so for him to go up there, like, or once he calls Patty out, which is again what a person who's excellent at this job does. They already know who they're going to call out, right? They already know what they're going to say to gain interest for the fight. But Patty is a fucking pro too, dude. How many times? Think about this, dude. Think about the fact that these guys go into that situation. What? Yada yada yada. Who do you want to fight next? Without an answer. Just actually think about that for a second. It's absurd. It's absurd. You like that is at least stage one. Like, I get it, you're not playing. Like, I understand you don't want to do a shtick, but like, come on, man. Like, this is like this tiny little thing you just need to, prepare extra for when you're going into their fight. Like, how can anybody not call someone out? And in addition to that, like when a person gets called out in the crowd, what do they usually do? Or if it's kind of like maybe they're the guy, almost all of them just stay in the crowd and like talk, they point at the camera. Patty knew the assignment instantly knew the assignment, dude. He calls out Patty. Does Patty sit there and go, I'm in the dirt? No, he gets up and he fucking runs into the octagon like a pro. Okay. There's like, and then they get into an altercation and people are like, oh yeah, that's just like this time. It's like, no. What they just did is the correct execution of what DC and Brock Lesnar were supposed to do. They should have been fucking pros, right? And DC of all guys fucked it up. Like, I know Patty and Ilia like do have beef, and Brock and DC are friends in real life. I'm not saying like I would probably fuck it up too, dude. But he did fuck it up. DC did fuck that up. And he would be the first to admit to that, dude. But I mean, and also watching Ilia while he was kind of going back and forth with with Patty, it was really interesting to watch because I could tell the second he was like, I'm done with this. Like, he wasn't. So when he pushed Patty, he was legit like, get out of my face. But I could literally see exactly what was going on in his brain, like exactly what was going on in his brain. And I just watched him kind of like, okay, I'm done with this. We've been talking long enough. And he's like, how do I make this stop? And he's just like, I'll push him. The security will come in and I'm done. And it was like, I'm telling you, I could see this fucking guy's soul tonight, man. He is the fucking guy, dude. He's the guy. He's the fucking guy. Doesn't mean he won't lose, but he's exactly what he says he is. Go watch that Joe Rogan Experience episode. He's exactly what he thinks he is. Unbelievable, dude. Unreal. But anyway, Charles Oliveira is a fucking badass too. And like Charles is a guy I like really root for. Like, I like really root for Charles. Different, they're like guys I like, guys I whatever. And then there are guys that, like, for whatever reason, I'm like, I like really want this guy to win. And Charles is always one of those guys. I saw this Ilia miss weight thing. This was like one of those completely random morning. Like, I was literally taking a shower at Jits and it was like Ilia missed weight. And I'm like, what? So I actually watched part of an MMA Joey video. I got right to the part where the guy said 155 and a half pounds. And I was like, he just said that out loud? It's like, but here's the thing. When the fighters actually weigh in, I don't know necessarily if that is their actual weigh-in. Okay. Cause like they have multiple weigh-ins. Because like when they actually weigh in for real, it's like 9 in.the morning sometimes, like or 11 a.m. or whatever. It's like there's no fanfare at all. They go down to the, it's at Fighter Hotel. I've seen this, like I've been there. Like they have like a floor of the hotel. Everybody's staying in the same hotel. So they have a floor of the hotel, like for 274, it was the second floor. And they would go down there and like just one by one, the teams are going in. There's only like 1 or 2 people from each team just go down to weigh in real quick and then come back up. And I don't remember seeing like anything there, like not even even backdrops. I could be wrong about that, but like I don't remember seeing even backdrops. So on that video, it looked like there's a backdrop. He yells it out. My point being is that he could have already made weight in a previous one if, like that's my only answer to what that could have been. But it's also possible he just fucking missed weight, I don't know. I have no idea. Nonetheless, And that's the other thing. This is so this, I forgot about that. This is actually why I was confident that it was probably the other one, is because he was wearing the chains, like he would have known. Okay. Like he would have known that he was a half pound over going into, the first one, and he would not be wearing chains. Like there's no chance that he would be wearing chains if he's over. So I don't know. But yeah, you guys are right. Armin for sure is getting skipped. Patty's next 100%. You want to know why? Hey, you want to know why Patty's next? Thank you for bringing that up, dude. Thank you very much for bringing that up, because that's important for me to touch on also. Okay. The reason that Patty is up next is not because Ilia called it. It's because Patty got out of his seat, ran into the octagon like a professional, and he got himself that fight. Okay. The likelihood that Ilia can say whoever he wants name into the microphone. Like Ilia literally can say anything he wants. If you guys think that you know what? That's another important thing, dude. Really important thing. I know people probably see a thing like that, and there's a lot of people who assume that the UFC collaborated with Ilia on that. So it's like that this whole thing was all this big setup thing that the marketing guys did, versus it being Ilia calling Patty, and Patty also being a stone professional. Okay. If you because that's almost certainly what this was. And so that's what I'm saying is so any guy can call out another guy on the microphone. It doesn't mean they're going to necessarily get that fight. But he calls out Patty. Patty wasn't even there. There was nothing that said Patty was a lock to get the next title shot at all. You had Gaethje and Armin Tsarukyan right there. So he was not a lock to get the next title shot at all. He just beat Chandler, obviously a good fighter, but there's nothing about that that's a lock. So there's no way that the UFC would have planned that. That's Ilia being what's the biggest money fight? Patty the Batty. What's the easiest fight? Patty the Batty. So after I win, I'm going to call out Patty. Patty, being a fucking stud doing his job, jumps out of his chair, goes in, gets in a fight with Ilia. Now it's a goddamn lock. Those two guys are fucking smart. Okay. This is one of those things that I could tell you unequivocally. I'm not speculating that these are things that are not being controlled by the UFC as an organization. These guys are doing this themselves, this part of it. And it's just really impressive. It's really impressive. Some guys do the fight game good. And I'm telling you, oh man, Ilia is going to, what I'm going to do every time that he does anything is I'm just going to point it out. Okay. That's all. Literally, that's all I want. That's literally all I want from this stream is you guys watch this, kind of try to take in what I'm saying. I have no idea if I'm doing a good job even verbalizing what's in my brain, but assuming that I've communicated this accurately, every time he does something that just gets some headlines that are just random shit that headlines, I will walk you through what he did and tell you why it's so fucking smart. Cause that's where he's going to be billionaire. That's where he's going to land. I will bet people, I literally texted Shab. I'm I will bet you that in a decade, Ilia Topuria is a billionaire. I'll bet you that. Maybe 15 years, but all right. So I sound dumb, probably, but then I would be who's dumber? The dumbass on the microphone or the dumbass who would come and watch some dumbass on the microphone? There's a million things on YouTube. Why don't you go find someone who's much smarter? So dude, here's the thing though. The reason why I feel confident with that is because these athletes in Europe, it's different, dude. It's really different because so much of what dictates, how wealthy some of these guys get has to do with their networks, right? Getting involved in investments that lead to really strong payoffs. When you're when you're in the game for real, who is, if you're a top financial institution, obviously people are coming to you all the time. You still have to fight for deals though. You still have to fight for deals. Oh, Facebook's going public. You don't think Morgan Stanley wants to do that IPO? You don't think JP Morgan wants to do that? Goldman Sachs took them public because they won the deal. But if you're one of these guys who can be worth $30 million and they're trying to get to $1 billion, if they have the right network, they get given investments that only the buck and biggest dick investors get that are locks. You're talking locks. You give 10 million, it's worth 40 in this many months. And it's not like it's almost essentially zero speculation. Okay. Like these guys play a fixed game, but only the most elite guys understand the game or are even allowed in the game. And if you're a famous, like wealthy athlete or a famous wealthy movie star or whatever, and you have the right friends, so that's why some of them get so rich. That's why some of them get so rich. You're like, damn, how'd that guy get all that money? Because he's friends with the right guy over here, friend with the right guy over there. And that's how they built their wealth. And in Europe, their athletes, like there are like a few of these guys that are like magnates. Dude, I looked up how much oh my God, Cristiano Ronaldo makes a year. The dude makes almost $200 million a year on his like salary is on this thing that I saw. I'm like, is what? $180 million? Like that makes no sense. And then, what's his name? His little, oh my God, whatever. These guys get involved in these deals. Messi's a billionaire. I'm pretty sure. Let me see if Messi's a billionaire. He might be worth like 300 or 400 million. But in Europe, they like, there are some of these guys that get in on these deals. Like, all right, so he's worth 850 million. So Lionel Messi is close, 850. Charles' eye surgery was a curse to him. Has a bad streak since having it. I mean, he lost. Okay, let me see if I can remember all of his fights correctly. So he beat Gaethje. Wait. So he beats Gaethje, then he gets the surgery. He loses to Islam. He knocks out Dariush, and then he loses to Arman in that razor close decision. Let me see if that's right. I'm gonna be pretty proud of myself if I got that right for whatever reason. That probably should be easy for me to remember, but nonetheless, hang on, let me see. Do you guys still use SureDog or you guys use like Tapology? So yeah, Arman Sarukian, and then I forgot about Michael Chandler. I forgot about Chandler. Damn it, I got so close. That's because Chandler's my dude, and I had to block that out, dude. I was too sad. Azad, what's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. Hey, Jesse, that new mayor of New York seems kind of crazy because he says he'll take minimum wage of 30. What do you think about that? I mean, honestly, I'll tell you exactly what I think about it. Give it a run, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, like, hopefully that works out for you guys. Because, like, the truth is, I don't give a fuck what anybody pays people or what they make in New York. I don't know anybody there. But it's like, it sounds like a really stupid idea. That's honestly where I'm at now. Like, that's where I'm at now. It's like, well, that sounds fucking stupid for a million reasons. Yuzefa, what's up, man? That was absolutely insane. That was, yeah. Dude, and man, Pantoja is the man, dude. That dude is, I owe him. I guess I just need to like acknowledge what I said when on Shab and I show, when we talked about Pantoja. You want to know what my take was? I was like, dude, one time I stopped watching one of his fights, which is true. And because it's true. It's like the only time I've ever done that where like, it was late at night. I was doing something else and it was in between the 4th and 5th round. I was like, I already know, whatever. One of his 5-round decisions. That's all I said. I was like, my point was like, I don't care. He's boring. Yeah. Last couple fights, I guess not so much anymore, dude. That guy is a savage, man. That dude is so good. I feel so, dude, honestly, for what did I say? Thanks, Jesse. Honestly, you're welcome, good sir. But I feel bad for guys that get dog walked like that in a title fight, like it's one thing if like Charles got knocked out, but like Charles is in a fight, but he got caught and he got knocked out, lost the fight. But man, I feel so bad for guys where you just look at them when they're coming in and you can just see they have like, this is everything. This is fucking everything. And they've put everything they possibly could into their fight camp. That's actually more what I'm talking about. It's because I can kind of like You know, I can kind of like look at a guy when he's coming in. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I can hypothesize, does this guy look like he probably is like done a really like everything that he can? And he absolutely struck me as a guy who like put it all on the line. He trained his fucking balls off. And so it's like this, he's going into this fight like, this is everything I have. Like, this is it. I have nothing else beyond this. If this is not enough, then it's not enough. You know what I mean? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? This is, I have, like, I can't do more than this. So if this is not enough, and then they go in and they just get dog walked like that. Like, how that's fucked up, dude. And you think about it, you know, it's just got to be absolutely soul crushing. Because, like, you know, you're going to be sad if you lose. Like, you're going to be sad if you lose. But what I'm talking about is different. Like, I'm not talking about losing. I'm talking like getting dominated like that, where this is the best version of you. And like, you have nothing, like, you have nothing for him at all. Like, nothing. You pose no threat to him. It's like, that's got to be hard, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah, that is exactly right. Those guys are unbelievably good. Like, isn't Schaub like 5'9"? I hope not. If Schaub is 5'9", then I'm 4'6". That's how I'll answer that question. People told me that I was, you know, like, that's so funny. I was reading something on there, like something on Reddit. They're like, Jesse is 5, something like that. I was laughing so hard, dude. I was laughing so hard because I was showing it to Gabrielle. I was like, imagine if this bothered me. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if I was like, these guys on Reddit, they're saying I'm shorting it. Like, you know, fucking pathetic that would be. Oh my God. I think it's funny, you know? Like, I really think it's funny. Like, I like my trolls. I mean, like, you know, the ones that are like those guys, you know? Jesse's actually 5'4", you know, not like actual like weirdos, you know, but just like funny trolling. I think it's hilarious. And I think about like dudes who, you know, like Wes Watson, like really gets bent out of shape about that. He's like, I got to make sure I get some pictures of people, dude, so they can know, dude, I'm 6'1". It's like, why? Oh my God. Is it really important that here, let's just pick one of these guys at random. It's like Jerry Lewis, who lives in Columbus, Ohio, 47 years old, is a sales executive. Like, yeah, he's the one who said that you're 5'9". It's like, dude, I need him to know that that's not correct by 3 inches. I'm 3 inches taller than what he's saying. It's like really important. Fucking ridiculous, dude. It's like, it's the stupidest fucking thing ever. That is the stupidest thing in history. You know, the only way to approach that kind of thing is like, you just don't care, dude. Like, you don't care. You're having fun with your people, dude. You know, if you take it personal, that's the worst way that you can interact with that kind of energy. You know what I mean? Like, don't take it personal and don't get mad. That's all you have to do. That's it. You become an impenetrable fortress, you know? It's like, honestly, I think my kids are asleep. I fuck with my kids constantly, dude. Like, constantly. I called Giselle a fucking retard like 8 times today. I did in front of my dad. That's the only reason I even thought about it, is because my dad was here. And I was like, Giselle, are you actually that big of a fucking retard? And she's like, why? And I'm like, what do you think, dude? This is what a retard does. Are you a fucking retard? And then I just said it without even thinking. And I'm like, oh, my dad's here. It's like, so I normally wouldn't even been aware of that, but I do it on purpose. Okay. Like, as absurd as that probably sounds, like, if people are not picking up on this, I am extraordinarily focused on kind of, you know, people. So like parenting, I have some very, very complicated plans that I'm, you know, executing on all the time. One of the primary ones, though, is, why do kids have challenging childhoods? Like, why do some kids have like really, really, really challenging childhoods, even though they have like good family, good whatever? It's because they get bullied in school. Okay. Like, it's like, it's a fucking nightmare. Like, getting picked on when you're young. Like, anybody who says they never got picked on ever when they were a kid, you're like, get the fuck. So what does that mean? You were a bully? Because we should probably, you know, we'll just beat the fuck out of you now. I'm just kidding. But so I always thought about that. I'm like, there's got to be a way to, and I realized I'm like, I need to get them so used to being called retard, stupid, like that, but like in a joking way that it completely rolls off their back when they are kids. Because kids are always pressure testing each other, dude. Always, you know? And if they see they've got a fucking weak antelope, they start eating them, dude. They fucking eat them. They eat them like hyenas. It's nuts, man. Little humans, it doesn't matter what school you go to, dude. Go to any school in the world, go into a group of like 11-year-olds, and like you walk in there, they look real cute. Walk out of there, they're bullying the shit out of people, dude. They're little fucking bastards, you know? And my kids are so conditioned to being fucked with like that they're impenetrable, and none of them have any issues with any other kids. And I'm convinced it's because of that, dude. Anyway, all of that is my answer to is Shab 5'9". Oh man, dude. This is either going to be, I'm going to watch this back tomorrow and I'm going to decide this is either my best stream of all time or the fucking worst I've ever done. This is either going to be the best or worst stream I've ever done. I am convinced of that. Jesse, what's different about this stream? You always seem like this. I told you guys, there are certain things I don't do very often, you know, like at all. Very rarely. But I did tonight. And I am still somehow competently communicating with people. So that's a plus. Dude, what else? Let's talk about the rest of the fight card a little bit, though. Like, what I'm trying to think of what else, like, what's important. Oh my God, how about Joshua Van, dude? What about Joshua Van, son? That kid is a killer, man. He's a killer. He is, oh, bro. He's fish food in terms of matchups, though, for Pantoja. Like that, stylistically, that's Pantoja's fucking nightmare fuel, you know? Really, because Pantoja's going to get in on those legs. He's going to. But, you know, Van, he's got super heavy power. I mean, he could win. He could win. But the real reason Jesse's 5'9" without the shoes. If somebody, like, if someone put me against the wall, like if someone put me against the wall and you put me in any state, like shoes off, socks off, whatever, and they put a gun in my mouth and they're like, are you going to be 5'10"? I'd be like, I don't know. They're like, are you going to be 5'9"? I'd be like, 100%. You can shoot me through the mouth if I am under 5'9", but 5'10", you know, we might be talking about a fucking matter of a couple millimeters one way or the other. You know, I never tell anybody I'm 5'11" because that would be a lie, you know? Okay. So yeah, Joshua Van is 23. Like, it's insane. It's insane that guy's that good and he's only 23 years old. I missed your super chat. My bad, dude. I'll go get it. Hold on. Sorry, I'm a little late to the party. Who'd you pick if Ilia fought Islam? Crazy fight. Ilia, dude. Ilia. And it wouldn't take me a long time to think about that either. Now I could, you know, I could end up being wrong. But Alvin Hines, 14 years in prison, lost but great fight. Wait, 14 years prison to UFC. Oh. Bro. That fight was bananas. That fight was insane. We're going to come back to that, though, because it's really important that I finish my thought on the Islam and thing. But thank you for the super chat. Okay, so if you think about how those two guys stack up stylistically, it's like I am not convinced that anyone could keep Ilia away from them. The thing is, though, actually, now that I'm like, you know, the fucking video, the stream's called Ilia is going to be a billionaire. I'm probably like sucking his fucking balls a little bit too much. So let me scale that back for a second and actually think about this. Okay, so Ilia, here's the thing. Islam Makhachev has the best striking defense in all of the organization for the last billion years. Like, Islam Makhachev has one loss. He got clipped, got knocked out. And subsequent to that, he became the most successful defensive striker in the history of the organization. You know, like, since we're talking about like, oh, like what kinds of people are they? You know, like what kind of people are they? And I'm telling you, like, Ilia is the guy. And I'm saying, and there you go. You want to use fighting as you know, something that you can measure who a person is by. There you go. You know, he got knocked out once. best ever to do it since then. It's like that. These guys are fucking incredible, man. They're incredible. But nonetheless, in case the last 3 fights have not been clear evidence, Ilia is not like anyone else. Ilia just went back to back to back, stretched out Volkanovski, Max Holloway, coming off of the fight that Max had against Gaethje. Like, okay, we're going to come back to that. And then Charles Oliveira. Potentially, we're talking, these guys are all in the top 15 best pound for pound all time. Max Holloway and Volkanovski are both in the top 10 top, like, you know, pound for pound guys. He stretched them all out, dude. Like, easily. So having great striking defense across the totality of your career is exactly the level of accomplishment that I laid out here. But at the same time, there's nobody that he's faced that is like Ilia, dude. There's just not. You know, the fact that Ilia had so much success against Charles on the ground, that's why I'm like, bro, this guy's nightmare fuel for everybody. He just is. Charles's ground game is so fucking good. Like, it's so good. And I will say this, dude. There are very few decisions that I've made in my life that I am more grateful for than when I started to actually train jiu-jitsu, however many years ago that was. Because, I mean, aside from the fact that it's like all I do now, but aside from that, watching guys like Charles Oliveira, like watching these guys when you're like a person who knows jiu-jitsu, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna like win ADCC, you know, like I'm not claiming I'm gonna beat any fucking big name pro jiu-jitsu person, but I fucking know what I'm looking at. Like, now I know what I'm looking at. There's nothing that they're working where I don't know what they're doing now. And like, Charles is so fucking good, dude. He is so good. And for Ilia to be able to deal with him the way that he did on the ground is just bananas. Like, so I 100% do not think that Islam is going to have some massive grappling advantage in this fight, is the point that I'm making. I don't. I know it's not apples to apples, you know, jiu-jitsu, submission, you know, he's a submission grappler with a jiu-jitsu base. And Islam, obviously, his style is very different. But it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Islam was not able to hold Volkanovski down. I don't see why there would be any reason to believe that he's going to be able to hold Ilia down. And Ilia is way more dangerous in tight. I think Ilia beats Islam. I do. I'm seeing things very clearly right now too. I might revisit this later and be like, change my mind. But for the record, for 100% sure, I am way smarter right now than I would have been in my future state where I would disagree with myself right now. I told you guys, I never smoke weed. But when I do, I get real smart. Yeah, I mean, there were a couple fucking that Alvin Hines fight was so crazy. That was amazing. The first fight of the night. Terrence McKinney just like almost popped Borshev's head off of his neck. So check this out. The Tracy Cortez fight. All right. So this is a 100% true story. Okay. Like, detail for detail. So after Terrence McKinney wins his fight, I was on the phone with Rose and Pat, and we were like FaceTiming, talking about the fights. And Giselle, my oldest daughter, is like, I'm going to ask ChatGPT who's going to win all the fights. We're like, okay. And, you know, we're just like talking to her like this, like, okay, well, tell us who they say is going to win. So she like starts rattling them off. And I'm like, okay, well, who's the first fight? Like, what's the next fight? And she's like, ChatGPT says Tracy Cortez by decision. And we're like, okay, noted. Go about next 15 minutes. And then we're just kind of wrapping out. And Pat's like, hey, dude, you know, Tracy Cortez is about to win by decision, like, in 9 seconds. And I was like, no way. I mean, obviously it's like probably the most likely outcome, but given the AI factor. So You know what? I wish I had a multiple choice thing to be like, what do you think Jesse on Fire did at this point, right? Like, what would such a smart, well measured guy have done at that point? Because the answer is get off the phone, go on to Bovada, make some stupid gigantic bet on the very next fight because ChatGPT called fucking Tracy Cortez to win by decision. So obviously it has the entire fight game locked down. So I should like make a really big bet on the next one, which is exactly what I did. At which point the guy I bet on got stretched out in the first minute. And I was like, oh, I guess you can't rely on fucking AI, but you can definitely rely on Jesse on Fire to be the stupidest fuck on planet Earth. Like in hindsight, it's so funny to think about how my brain works. It's like for a second, like I actually entertained the idea that like, that was like a really crazy indicator that like ChatGPT is going to be able to like, predict fights right. It said Tracy Cortez by decision. I'm like, fuck, dude. This thing is operating at a completely different level. Did you see this breakdown right here? Did you see? It has like 3 bullets that they pulled off the internet somewhere. And I'm like, fuck. So I bet my 401k on the next fight and lost it. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. I just didn't bet that much. But I did make a bet larger than I normally do. And then afterwards realized I'm a fucking retard. And the fact that AI called that should have had nothing to do with my decision, but I'm that big of a spaz. Exactly. Cheat code up. No. Cheat code though. And with the AI, that actually, when I was talking, when I started this conversation, I'm sure most of the people from the beginning are out of here by now. But so for people who have come on since then, what I was talking about at the beginning is how Ilia Topuria is like, he is going to be entrepreneuring early and he's going to be doing deals early, like to where his fight career, when he gets done and retires, he's going to be walking straight into like a lot of stuff going on. He's going to be making a lot of money, more money. I would bet he'll be making more money from whatever he has building, like that he builds between now and his, retirement than fighting like year over year. Anyway, but what I was talking about is how guys like him or guys who know how to work that game, like in the way Connor could have done, if he would have played it different out there, but they get into these social circles with people that they hang out with, and they give them access to these deals that only like these absolute mega elite billionaires do, which are lock bets. You can't miss. Like it's not like an investment one of us would make. Like it's a certainty that it's going to go boop, boop, boop. It's all legal, but it's this game that all of them play at the top. And some like athletes, if they have the right social circle, will get into those groups. And what's funny about you said the AI thing is a cheat code. And I have been saying for the last, year that I would bet my life on the fact that those guys have an AI language model that is completely contained. Only they have access to it. And they've trained it to beat the market, and I bet you that I would bet so much money that I'm right about that they have a language model that's sole purpose has been to track, develop, and then be able to beat the S&P and make predictions about what stocks are going to move. And assuming that they have done that, since that's what I would do. And I'm certainly not the smartest person on earth. Like this is like to anybody who's kind of entrepreneurial and like thinks about it, that's a common sense play that they're going to make. I bet you that for each one that has figured out how to beat the market, there's probably like 20 to 50 people who have access to it, because they have to keep it small. The entire way that you beat the market is you have information no one else does. So it needs to be real small. You don't want anyone even knowing that you're using those tools, because as soon as all the big, it's only edge until everyone has it. Okay. You want to know who definitely will not have it though? Us. So just for the record, even when, it spreads to all the major, financial institutions and all of them are playing that against each other, we still won't have it. So don't worry. They'll still be butt fucking us, even if, their playing field gets a little more level. A-Wine, thank you very much. If Ilia and Patty fought next week, how do you think it would go? Also, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 to Eagle Snatch, how high are you right now? I'm probably like a 7. But on Ilia versus Patty, oh, dude, Ilia knocks him out. 100%. And I love Patty Pimblett. I love Patty Pimblett. I root for him every time. The guy is a stud. And I've been saying you guys have heard me talk about Patty. Like, I don't think I can remember a time where I've seen a fighter improve so drastically over such a short period of time in an aspect of their game. But you watch a Jared Gordon fight, watch his striking, then watch each of his subsequent fights and just watch. He is a completely different fighter. Like if he was wearing a mask in his first fight, no one would even realize it was him. If he cut his fucking hair, if he wouldn't have been such a star, like people would not realize how good, like they would just think of him as like a really good striker. He's fucking good, but Ilia is going to fucking knock him out. That's just is what it is. Like, that's just what it is. But, okay. Replying to David, oh, sorry about that. Replying to David, just drain to not get cauliflower, but the ears become harder over time. But coli is cool if you want to look hard, biz not so much. I don't know who you were talking to, but I bet you, hopefully that was valuable information to whoever is dealing with their ears. Now, speaking of that, did you guys see on X, Tristan and Andrew Tate were asking for anyone who knows Ben Askren's family, like personally has like a relationship with them. They were trying to get in touch with Ben Askren's family because, I mean, I don't know why, but I assume it has to do with the fact that they just, at least the word that I heard is that insurance is not covering his lung transplant. Now, in fairness, let me tell you where I sourced that. The source I have on that is absolute horseshit. It's a single fucking post on Instagram. So I'm not saying this is like for sure true, but I did see on Instagram, there was a post that said that, let me actually look that up because that's like a fucking really big deal. Hang on. Then ask, lung transplant insurance. Oh my God, it is true. Wow, dude. That is so fucked. That's unbelievable, dude. That is fucking unbelievable. How is that legal? How the fuck is that legal? Ben Askren's insurance not covering life-saving lung transplant. Okay, let's make a deal, guys. Don't let me go too hard in the paint on this because I have a lot of other more important things related to the UFC to talk about, but this is fucking insane. Okay, like this is insane. This is the kind of thing that I look at where I'm like, okay, so what are you guys spending your time doing in terms of legislation? Like, what are you guys writing up? You know, my dad was here for the week and he's shooting, he shot some guns. He liked some guns. Like, we're talking like for you gun people, he shot a Springfield Prodigy. Okay. And a Sig Sauer P365 AXG Legion. And he liked them because they were heavier, 9mm. So he was going to buy one when he got home. And guess what? Neither of them are legal in California. Fucking Prodigy and a 365 AXG Legion. Those are not legal in California. But Glock 19 Gen 3s are? Oh, okay. Well, that makes perfect sense, you guys. Like, obviously, whoever's doing the legislation here is a genius who absolutely understands how we should be approaching, writing laws. Like, let's just do shit that makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. Like, let's have you guys spend all of your time doing things that literally make zero positive impact. The only thing they do is just make people annoyed. Like, that's what you did, Oh, I can't get this gun. I have to get this one. Like, that's just annoying. That's a culmination of all your work. You saved 0 lives. You had 0 positive impact on anything. You just annoyed some people. Okay. How many hours do you think these people worked on legislation related to the California handgun fucking registry? Okay. Every second of those hours is time wasted. Your life means nothing. Okay. Like, all you do all day, all the people that are working on that stuff, not any of you guys, obviously. Let me make perfectly clear, talking about the imaginary people who specifically are doing this shit in California. It's the dumbest thing ever, right? And at the same time, we can live in a world where it's okay for a health insurance company to take your fucking money. Okay. They take your, oh, cool, these are your premiums. And so if anything happens, you've given me all this money, so just in case you have a big medical emergency that you can't afford. It's like, okay, yeah, that's the understanding that we have, of course. And then it's like, oh, Ben Askren gets an out of nowhere, super rare fucking MRSA staph infection inside his body that eats through his fucking lung. The doctors have stabilized him, but he needs a new lung because there's a fucking hole in it. Hey, do you think that sounds, similar to the agreement that we made? Like, does any part of this sound like there is a world where you can not cover that lung, given the fact that we are literally in the scenario your entire fucking business is supposed to be based on? Like, what are we talking about? You know, do I have an option of paying you? Like, oh, yeah, I missed 4 or 5 months, but I still expect you to provide the service because, like, I don't know. I'm not covering your monthly fees, but you still have to give me the service, right? Is that how that works? But in this case, in Ben Askren's case, that lung transplant's not covered. I would fucking love to see that contract, and I would love to see anyone from that company come on my show. You know what? I said I don't do debates. Hey, I don't do debates. I fucking take that back. I will have anyone from whatever company that is try to come on my show and explain to me how what they're doing should not be the most illegal fucking thing in history. And anybody who is happy about this, that works for their company, should be in fucking jail. Okay. Do I think it's cool when people murder CEOs? No, I think that's a really good litmus test to demonstrate who the fucking morons are. Oh, you cheered for that on the internet? You're an idiot. Okay. That doesn't make you smart. It makes you an idiot. Just makes you a bloodthirsty person who's not thinking. That's not good. Okay. And at the same time, what these fucking people are doing should be illegal. Okay. You don't shoot the CEO. You go to your fucking Congress people and you start demanding that they do something about it, because if you don't ask things of your local representatives, they are going to play golf and figure out ways to steal money. Like, what else are they going to do?